Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome to another week of recipes. I'm sorry, obviously being absent. Life has been busy as usual. I'm now trying to catch up and do everything. Sorry, I'm trying to clean the flat as well. Because yeah, been busy. So yeah, today's recipe is a vegetarian recipe. It's egg drop soup, vegetarian because obviously it's got egg in it. But everything else, all the rest of the ingredients are obviously vegan up to the point of egg, which makes it a vegetarian recipe. So yeah, it's like it's egg drop soup, which is like a Cantonese soup. You normally get it in restaurants when you go to like decent Cantonese restaurants anyway, because you obviously can get chicken noodle soup, but this is like a more traditional soup. So yeah, so I'm making egg drop soup. So what I'm doing so far is, I'll show you, let me turn the camera, I'll show you the ingredients. At the moment I have 1 litre of water boiling to make my stock, and then I've got 3 large eggs. The recipe normally calls for mushroom, but obviously I have an allergy to mushroom, so I'm going to be using silken tofu. I'm going to obviously drain this off, and I'm going to use half of it. I've got 3 green onions, soy sauce, and a stock cube, which is, even though it's a chicken stock cube, it's a vegan chicken stock cube. So what I'm going to do is, obviously I'm going to cut these up into little slices, and I'll be getting some cornstarch as well. Yeah, so I'll be adding cornstarch, because what you need to do is you need to make like a slurry from the stock and cornstarch, and that what gives it a thickness to soup. And then obviously I'll show you how it's all done anyway, but like the recipe takes like 10-15 minutes. Longest thing is obviously boiling the water. Yeah, so let's crack on, get on with it. As I said, the chicken stock cubes are vegan. They're the fake chicken flavoured ones that you can get beef ones and you can get chicken ones, but it still gives it the same flavour as like a chicken stock, but obviously mine's the chicken. So yeah, now I've added the stock in, just need to wait for that to make the stock, and then I'm going to cut the onions while I do that. Yeah, a note on the recipe is 1 stock cube normally makes about between 500 and 750 millilitres of stock, but obviously just check the flavouring, and if you need to add more stock cubes, just add more stock cubes, like half or 1 or 1, because you want it to make sure you've got that taste, like a chickeny taste. Yeah, so as you can see, I've now opened the silken tofu, which you use silken tofu because obviously that's the one mostly used for soups. So yeah, I've got out half the packet. I'm going to pat it dry to obviously get any excess water out, because obviously tofu always comes with water, just to keep it nice and soft and moist. The stock's almost there. Obviously always taste your stock to make sure it's right. Add more stock cube if you need to, remember. Obviously add salt if you need to, because the recipe does call for salt. I've cooked my food, so, well, I don't add unnecessary salt. So yeah, the onions are all nice and cut up as well. Right, so the next thing I've done, a tablespoon of cornstarch, as in corn flour as we call it in the UK, into a bowl. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about 2 to 3 cups of the stock and make like a slurry. I'll show you how it's meant to go, like the consistency, to obviously make it thick, because obviously you're going to add it back to the soup. So as you can see, yeah, I'm just mixing it all together, and obviously you just keep mixing it till obviously the corn flour breaks down. It makes it, as you can see, it's getting thicker. Basically what you're doing is like you're making like a wee paste, you know, like a soup thickener, but you're making it naturally rather than like adding like buying it in a packet and like adding it from the supermarket. It's always best to do your own. That way you can control how thick you like your soup. Right, so that's the slurry made. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of the soy sauce. I used like the dark soy sauce. Then I'm going to add my wee slurry bit by bit to obviously just make the thickness, and add spring onions and the tofu. Well, as you can see, everything's now added. Obviously apart from the eggs, which you leave to the end, and obviously some wee garnish, spring onion. But no, you need to bring that now back to the boil a wee bit. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll show you the next part, and then that'll be the soup pretty much done. Yeah, so that's the 3 nice large eggs now all beaten. It does say to add like a wee touch of white pepper. You can if you want, you don't have to. And now I'm going to add it to the soup broth, and then we're now almost done. We're almost at the end. As you can see, I've added wee bits of thyme, and what it does is it makes these little ribbons, and that's why it's called egg drop soup. That's where it gets its name from, look. Whee! So, yeah, let me finish adding it. So, yeah, that's what happens. It comes out in these little ribbons, and that's what you want. And there you have it, guys. The finished product, Cantonese style veggie egg drop soup. Right, thank you for tuning in, and next recipe will probably be another soup because it is now soup season because it's getting colder. But no, stay tuned and stay posted, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks.